Terrifying Halloween night. True stories that will haunt you forever. Did you know that a simple night of trick-or-treating can turn into a chilling nightmare? This is the true story of a childhood memory that still haunts me to this day. I was about 7 or 8 years old when my mom dropped me off at my friend Sean's house for Halloween night. Along with our friend Johnny, we set out for a night of candy and fun. However, unlike past years, this time we were unsupervised. It felt like an adventure, a taste of freedom. But little did we know, danger was lurking just around the corner. The night started normally. We walked door to door, collecting candy in our pillow sacks, occasionally answering questions about where our parents were. Johnny, the oldest, reassured everyone that his mom and sister were just ahead. But as the streets emptied and the festive energy of the evening faded, something felt off. Then we noticed him, a man pushing a stroller, walking slowly in our direction. He hummed softly, occasionally whispering, "Shh," as if soothing a baby. As he neared, he smiled and asked, "How's the trick-or-treating going, boys?" We responded hesitantly. He then offered us candy, explaining that he hadn't given much out because he had taken his daughter out instead. It sounded like a jackpot, a whole bag of candy for free. We eagerly followed as he led us toward his house. Something didn't sit right with me. His home seemed too far. The streets were eerily quiet. He asked a lot of questions, our names, where we lived, where we went to school. I let Sean answer. I felt uneasy. And when we arrived, he ushered us inside. Sean entered first, and I followed. I asked if we could keep the door open. He paused, then agreed. As he disappeared into another room to get the candy, Sean curiously lifted the stroller cover. His face instantly drained of color. He whispered, "We need to go." Without hesitation, we bolted outside. That's when we heard a voice behind us. "Excuse me." A woman from a neighboring house hurried toward us, her face serious. "Do you boys know that man?" We hesitated. Sean blurted out everything. The woman's face darkened. "That man doesn't have a child." Chills ran down my spine. She drove us home immediately. When I told my mom, she was horrified. She called the police, but after that night, I never heard anything more. To this day, I wonder what was in that stroller. What would have happened if we had stayed? But the horrors of Halloween night don't end there. Fast forward to 2016, I was in college handing out candy in our cul-de-sac. It was a quiet area and we rarely had more than a handful of trick-or-treaters. By 9:30 p.m., the festivities had ended. Or so I thought. A loud ding-dong shattered the silence. My dog Vito barked wildly as I approached the door. Through the glass storm door, I saw a figure. A tall man in a clown costume, a terrifying mask concealing his face. He waved, then pointed to his nearly empty sack. Something about him unsettled me. I muttered, "Sorry, we're out of candy," and slammed the door. Then the doorbell rang again. Vito growled. I backed away. Then came the sound of the storm door being forced open, followed by knocking and the doorknob twisting. Panicked, I bolted upstairs, locked myself in my room, and texted my family group chat. No response. The silence was deafening. Minutes passed, then the doorbell rang once more. My heart pounded. I turned off the lights and waited. "Please, just go away." Finally, the ringing stopped. I let out a breath of relief, convincing myself it was a prank. But Vito's growling returned. I turned toward my window. And there he was, his clown mask pressed against the glass. He tilted his head, watching me. I screamed. I ran, locked myself in my parents' room, and dialed 911, my hands trembling. The police arrived within 10 minutes. They found the storm door's latch broken and my dad's ladder propped against the house. He had climbed to my window. To this day, I don't know if it was a sick prank or if I narrowly avoided something far worse. But the scariest Halloween story I've ever heard? That happened just last month. My friends and I were looking for a Halloween party. Kate found one through Instagram, an address, a few rules, and the promise of a good time. When we arrived, we were greeted by an older man. "Welcome, I'm John Luke's dad." Luke, the supposed host, was nowhere to be found. John was overly friendly. He let us inside, insisting we put our drinks in his cooler. His presence felt off. He handed us drinks, constantly pushing shots on us. Everything blurred faster than it should have. My memory fractured. Next thing I knew, I woke up in a car outside my house, my friends shaking me awake. John had been all over me before they pulled me away. And as we left, 2 police cars arrived. That's when we noticed something chilling. The house was completely empty. No furniture, just an abandoned space filled with strangers. The next morning, my head still spinning, I checked my phone. I had messages from an unknown number. "Where are you? I'm coming to your house. I'm here. Come to the door." My stomach dropped. I showed my friends. They reminded me. None of us had ever met Luke. We never even saw him. Was there ever a Luke? 31, we reported everything to the police. That's when we learned the house had been vacant for months. John had lured people there, posing as a party host. To this day, the police have never found him, and he still has my number. If you found this story terrifying, hit that like button and share your own eerie experiences in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more spine-chilling tales every week.